Hi guys, welcome to WRME Live. My name is Christine Surrett. I look awful because I've been moving furniture all day because we are still revitalizing.
It's a process.
And this is wonderful Erin Burns.
Hi, y'all know me.
She's been helping me, although she looks much nicer doing it. Just all sorts of stuff getting shuffled around.
Just because I took photos this morning and did some real estate stuff before I came in.
So. Well, I went straight from dropping off my daughter at preschool and came in like, I'm going to get dirty. And just went full country south and just wrangled massive desks, moved stuff, cubicles. It's been a doozy of a day. Okay, I learned some fascinating stuff this week.
What did you learn?
I learned, we had an electrician come in, and he was telling us about how one of the reasons light bulbs have become in chandelier base is to prevent people from swapping out light bulbs with heat bulbs, much higher voltage wattage bulbs. And the one theory we were told was so they could save money on their heating bill, because the electricity, the light's going to be on anyway, might as well let this heat bulb heat everything up. People not thinking about there's a reason you can't do a higher voltage. Is it volt or wattage? Wattage. Can't do a higher wattage. She caught me. She helps. And and people's houses were legitimately catching flame from that fixture's not designed to handle it. And it's not more for our region of the U.S., it's more to the north and northeast because they have far more harsh winters as far as longevity, depth of snow, and lack of access to things when the snow happens. But it does kind of come back to those weird little things that we get perturbed by.
Yes. But
there's a story behind it. Another fact, I wonder if you know this. Do you know why all doors that are properly hung up to code, unless there's some form of loophole, are supposed to open outwards? Correct me if I'm wrong. Because this is my own research, and so far I haven't found anything that proved me wrong.
I don't know.
There was a school fire decades ago, and people panicked, and they ran into the door and pressed up against it to where no one could pull it open, and most of them perished. Because no one would freaking move from the door. Now, I think this is well over 100 years. I think the story that I've heard and have kind of read on was the Christmas tree still had legitimate candles on it.
See, my front door opens inward.
See? But I think it's more like businesses. This was a school.
Oh, yeah. Ours opens inward.
So I wonder, because I remember when I went to college, it was befuddling to me.
I think of the opposite side of that. If you're trying to secure your house from somebody getting in, or a school, if there's an incident or a business, you can secure it from being pushed in. It's harder to secure it from being pulled open.
See, I know that's one of the reasons that they made it mandatory to have two exits. Old school houses only had one entry, right, in the front, out, and through the front door.
Random fact.
So,
do y'all know?
Please, if you've got research on this, let me know. It's just what I could find, because it was befuddling. In Alva, Oklahoma, in the older section of it, every door would open up. So I wonder if the codes have changed between when Alva was built 100 some odd years ago to now, to where they're like, as long as you have a certain amount of exits, you don't have to open to the outside.
Hopefully things progress and change with the times.
And I'm glad to hear that they're trying, but it is fascinating how at one point one crisis occurred, and that's why this, like the Triangle Shirt Factory, that was another tragedy. Do you remember that one? Mm-hmm. I did journalism class, so this was a big one because journalism was involved, and not in a small way. It was a Triangle Shirt Factory. It caught fire, but it didn't have proper fire escapes or any proper way or multiple ways to get out of the building safely.
Yeah.
And so that caused all sorts of building reform to try and make it to where if accidents do occur, you have a higher probability of getting out. And ounce of prevention goes a long way. You might get a little bit annoyed that as a homeowner or a builder, you have to do certain things that just don't make sense to you, but it made sense. And maybe it's something that needs to be updated. Right. But some of these things, they're there for a reason. Some tragedy, or in more funnier cases, a lawsuit. Just like those lighters. The lighters say, like, do not leave in hot car. You just know there's a lawsuit involved.
Right.
Hopefully no fatalities on that
And
one.
another thing to think about is Wednesday, I was doing the home inspection. And home inspector smelled some gas.
Ooh.
So he turned the knob on an old wall furnace heater in the bathroom. And he got hit with the gas, so he figured out where it was coming through. The pilot light was blown out because it was winter and should have been off. It was shut off at the gauge, but it wasn't shut off anywhere else. So the only thing we can think of is grandkids had been visiting, and one of them nudged it enough to let a slow gas come out, but not enough. Nobody noticed.
So it's kind of like a leaky faucet. You have that drip, except the drip doesn't drive you crazy. It just kind of slowly suffocates
the moral
you.
of the story is, if you blow on a pilot light, shut off the gas to that equipment or that section or whatever. If you, most gas lines have a shut off where you don't have to shut off the main one, you can shut off to a certain equipment.
And in some unique cases, you might just have to cap it. You don't have to glue it shut, but you could use some Teflon tape and a proper cap that's the right threading and temporarily plug it off safely.
Yes.
And that's definitely something we need to keep in mind going right into winter. And it's fall! Yes!
Yeah.
Fall!
Or when we're coming out of winter next year and you're turning off the things that you don't need to use no more. You know?
Yeah, pilot lights. Pilot lights can eat your gas, so if you don't use your heater as much as some people, you might just turn it off and have it properly shut off for the season.
We have a gas fireplace. After winter, we blow out the pilot, turn off the gas, but we still use gas for our heater and our hot water heater. So we can't shut off all gas.
Correct. I'm talking, my apologies. To clarify, I'm about to move into a very old house, and it looks like it has a separate pipe that I can shut off.
There.
So
there's the difference.
But I did some hunting, did some looking, that kind of thing. Oh, that's the knock to tell us we've been talking too long. So, welcome. Thank you guys for joining us. And I want to say it's where we do real life, real world real estate every day.